Right now, your investigator, Karen Morfitt, digging into why Colorado's Department of Corrections ended a program to equip parole officers with body-worn cameras.
Well, Department of Corrections staff from across the Front Range reached out to your investigator, Karen Morfitt, after they were told to turn in those devices on December 1st of last year. Now, Karen, the employees that reached out to you want them for their own protection, I understand.
Yeah, now they're wondering, of course, how they fit into the state law that requires that.
Exactly, and we know that that law was designed in part to hold police officers, post-certified police officers, accountable. Well, parole officers meet all of those requirements. What we learned is the DOC spent the money on the equipment, and that equipment is now collecting dust.
For law enforcement officers across Colorado, a camera should be part of the uniform.
Are you post-certified? Are you a peace officer?
I am.
Do you wear a body-worn camera?
I don't.
Why is that?
That's a great question.
The man we spoke with works as a Department of Corrections community parole officer. Worried about retaliation, he asked not to be identified.
The things that we go into these homes, probably we should have cameras on.
Until recently, the Colorado Department of Corrections seemed to agree. Records obtained by CBS Colorado show in 2022 they spent more than $235,000 on hundreds of cameras for the adult parole division. The software cost over $141,000 a year. For a 5-year quote, that's a grand total of nearly $1 million. DOC says they never entered into that contract. 2 years and more than $500,000 later, those cameras are sitting on shelves.
I received an email from CDOC that stated that we are turning in all of our cameras.
The email from Director Andre Stansel says they are pausing the, quote, pilot program, though an internal document detailing the project's timeline suggests the goal was to have them fully implemented in April of 2023. Last October, all work and all communication on the project ended. That was just days after parole officer Christine Guerin was killed.
We lost a human being, we lost an officer, we lost a mom, a wife, and that's a tough one.
While multiple policies have been drafted over the years, none were ever approved. And at the time of Guerin's death, there was no clear guidance on when or how to use those cameras. The suspect in her case pled not guilty, claiming he didn't know she was a parole officer and that he acted in self-defense.
It would have definitely showed from multiple angles what occurred during that incident.
Colorado's Enhanced Law Enforcement Integrity Act mandates all local law enforcement agencies and the Colorado State Patrol equip their officers with body-worn cameras during interactions with the public. But in the same email detailing the end of the pilot program, the DOC director explains this legislation does not specifically mandate the use of BWCs for the Colorado Department of Corrections Division of Adult Parole. Former State Rep Leslie Herod, who wrote the bill in 2020, then worked on its changes in 2021, says that's not her interpretation of the law.
At the end of the day, every person who can take away someone's rights, everyone who has the ability and the duty, really, to serve and protect our community should be held to accountability standards. Now, what I do know is that the Department of Corrections has purchased body camera footage for the department, body cameras for the department. And so it would be curious to me why they would even need a law.
Herod says if DOC believes there is some sort of loophole, it needs to be fixed.
If they choose to take that posture, I believe that the General Assembly should act and should say, listen, all post-certified officers at this point should be held within the police accountability laws.
Parole officers we spoke with say they want the protection that comes with those cameras. But even more, they want the public to know how their money is being spent.
There's some questions that need to be answered on that. That's a lot of money, and that's a lot of taxpayer money that just went for nothing.
Now, a DOC spokesperson says that the department is not currently under contract with any provider and that they are currently evaluating the results from that pilot program to determine their next appropriate steps. The suspect in Guerin's case, we know, is set to go to trial in February.